All right, let's talk about clicks. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do a super quick voice denoise on here because I do believe that that's a great starting point. So let's just go ahead. Yeah, these kind of crazy settings just actually sound really good. It doesn't happen absolutely every day, but we're very lucky to live in the age that we do.
Come dance with me on the land and in the sea.
I mean, come on. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in here and talk about mouth clicks. It's a fact of life. There's something that editors used to have to deal with manually, which was extremely time consuming. And I will say this, it is something that you really should consider and be listening for while you're recording vocals. This is outside of the scope of this course, but do try to get rid of this stuff as you're recording. Consider the angle of your microphone, consider the proximity, consider your EQ. Perhaps your vocalist needs to take a bite of an apple. That's an old trick that works really well for that kind of thing. Same goes with de-essing, by the way. Try to get the recording as pristine as possible. RX is not a substitute for good recording. We can save a performance, but the closer you get it, the better it's going to sound. All of those percentages really do add up in the end. So let's jump over here and let's take a look at mouth declick. And I do love, by the way, as an aside, how they delineate between voice and mouth. So voice has noise, mouth has clicks, which does make a lot of sense. So this is a really, really simple module to use that works really great. To be honest, most of the time when I use it, I just turn sensitivity up to about 6.5 and hit render. And there is almost never an issue for me. One thing that you might do if you want to do what we did earlier with the ear in the repair assistant, only listen to the clicks, is you can hit output clicks only. By the way, this works the same in Audio Suite. Hit preview. So we can hear those clicks we're getting rid of. It sounds really great. If we want, we can skew the frequency so that it's looking more to the higher low frequencies. And if we want, we can also have it sort of repair the click area around it. But I find that that's often not the case, especially for vocals that are recorded halfway decently. So I'm going to go ahead and hit preview with this. And let's just go back and forth between regular preview and bypass. And once again, we have to turn off output clicks only.
Come dance with me on the land and in the sea.
Here's with it bypassed.
Come dance with me on the land and in the sea.
Whoa, big difference. It just works great. I really love the way that it sounds. Again, make sure that you're not nuking anything that's part of a pronunciation of a particular language that you're working on. For what we're dealing with here, this works really well for this particular style of music. But again, use your ear, use your heart, make sure that things still feel really good. Now we can go ahead and hit render on this. And we've got that mouth declick baked in. By the way, all of this is going to be saved in our undo history, which is really handy. And let's go over to the regular declick module here, because this is a slightly different algorithm. And I find that mouth declick gets me 90% of the way there. And every now and then I have to deal with a particularly bad click, and I use declick. Declick is not optimized for voice, really, but it does work really well on voice. You just have to be a little bit careful about it. I find that declick can be really helpful for repairing funny edits. If there is an actual mistake in the way that someone delivered something, not just normal mouth noises, it can be really handy. Again, we've got the sensitivity, frequency skew, and click widening like we talked about. And then you can just work through your algorithm. Are the clicks happening in different frequency bands and things like that? Do you want to go into low latency mode? I like multi-band random clicks. I think that's the highest CPU usage. I guess that's just my style. But again, you push that in there, and let's listen to the output clicks only to see if we're still catching anything. So as you can hear, we're catching a lot more, and this is when it's really possible to kind of make your vocal a little bit unusable, kind of strange to listen to. So just be careful with that. This is one that I would tend to use a little bit more surgically here and there if I hear something that really jumps out to me. And then the last module I want to talk about here is called decrackle. And this is a handy one because it's different than mouth declick. It's different than declip. It's sort of somewhere in between. Again, high quality, strength, same as the other ones. Amplitude skew, is it listening for higher level or lower level clicks and things like that? Decrackle I don't tend to use across an entire track, but if I find something that has just a little bit too much sizzle on it. Maybe it's getting a little bit of analog clip, but not digital clip, and it's kind of hitting it wrong, and the declip isn't doing it, and the mouth declick isn't doing it. This can be very handy. So let's listen to this and see if we can find something that'll give us a little crackle we can work with.
Come dance with me,
Okay, that dance.
dance with me, come dance with me,
So over here, I'm hearing a little bit of it. So let's preview.
dance with me, come dance with me, come dance with me, come dance with me, come dance with me,
This is bypass now.
come dance with me, 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 come dance with me,
Bypass.
come dance with me, come dance with me.
Okay, so we're getting a little bit of help from this with that. We're just removing some schmutz that's in there. Let's render that, and let's go ahead and we will just loop this section, and I will undo it and compare.
Dance, dance, dance,
And then undo.
dance, dance, dance,
Ooh, big difference there. Okay, redo.
dance, dance, dance.
By the way, undo and redo is just Command Z and Command Shift Z.
Dance, 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 dance.
So we're getting rid of some clusters of clicks there that the mouth declick didn't get. And I find this to be a little bit more pleasant to listen to. Again, the decrackle is not one that I'm worried about across the board. That is not a super important one to worry about in terms of your overall processing. I tend to spot treat with this a little bit more. Working with decrackle in this capacity is similar to using it as an Audio Suite plugin. But since we're here, it can be very handy to use in this particular way.